Yeah, I believe in you. I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about my next, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
Absolutely, right? I believe in happiness 110%. Good evening, everybody. I have a fantastic guest connected with us this evening from Los Angeles. He's going to tell us a little bit of a weather report out there, which is totally strange, weird weather for California. Everybody, I would love for you all to like, share, subscribe the show on anywhere that you see it. So please like us on Facebook, where we are currently airing right now. Hello, hello. And YouTube, like and share, subscribe, do it all. Just go over there and do it all, please. All right. And then Amazon Prime. Make sure that you catch us every show. You know, if you're ever curious, how long does it take for the networks to take this show and push it out there? It's about 2 days. So always check us out. And if you would like to be included in the email campaign that's currently going on for what I call reruns that are fantastic. It's all of the best shows. We have scheduled them to air on every, let me remember this, on every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is at 3 p.m. Eastern. And on Sunday, it's 5 p.m. Eastern. Every single week, great shows, especially on Sunday, because it's our news episode. And each and every episode has our financial advisor, and he picks a topic for that show. So we've learned about retirements. The last show was retirement. Is it enough? And he's just fantastic with all of his ideas about teaching finances to children. So make sure that you catch JC Schweingruber with us on the news on Sunday at 5. All right, everybody, let's give a shout out to the sponsor before we get into our guest this evening. And this is going to be an absolutely full show. I am so excited because every once in a while I have a fantastic guest, but there's only one thing that we're going to talk about. And, you know, I sort of caution them. I'm like, well, it might be maybe about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and we always go 45. We just always do. I guess that is the benefit of kissing the Blarney Stone twice. Yes, I did. So this evening is Red Bar. And Red Bar was so very kind to the show. A couple of seasons ago, they decided to be our sponsor. And every show has a different sponsor. Thankfully, I'm lucky enough to have enough of them in rotation. But Red Bar is a super interesting product. Yes, it has caffeine. And of course, I love the caffeine, right? That's one thing. If my doctor, God forbid, ever told me to give up caffeine, no, sorry, can't do it. This bar is completely full of whole food, real food, no chemicals, nothing like that. It has 9 grams of protein, 9+ grams of protein, because as you can see, there's many different flavors. This evening, I did the oatmeal, and the oatmeal has 2 grams of sugar, which is what I'm always looking for. I can't do a lot of sugar, and a lot of these meal replacement bars or protein bars, the sugar alcohols are just way too high. 10 grams of protein, 13 grams of fiber. It has pre-probiotics and aptogens. It's superfood. And the story behind it was that they needed something that could go in the back of your pouch when you're cycling, because there were a couple of guys, they were long haul cyclists. They did many different tours, and they're like, we need real nutrition that's truly going to feed our body and not just be, a bunch of chemicals. So I want you to go over to redbar.com. It's REDDBAR.com. You get 15% off of your first order today. And the other wonderful thing about Red Bar is that it is available at many other locations. I have seen it on Amazon, my favorite store ever. And I've also seen it at our Publix. They have it at Walmart, and I believe Walgreens as well. So let's now get into the gentleman of the hour, as I'm going to call him, because this is going to be a whole hour show. Cody Cowell. Cody Cowell hails from Los Angeles, especially in the bubble zone, as he taught me what the bubble zone means. So, Manhattan Beach, California, and it is absolutely beautiful, gorgeous location of just wonderful people. And he is one of those wonderful people. He is also an LA actor, and he's a very, very good one. He is here to tell us about feature films Run Baby Run and BEARS, The Awakening, Queen of Heaven, TV series Seven Seas and DJ The Greatest Superhero, as well as video game. Yeah, he booked a video game. I really want to ask him about this because this is a great thing that is happening. Dark Mean City. So to be a character in a video game, to be a voiceover artist in a video game, it's such a different style of game, right? From traditional acting in film and television. So without any further ado, let's bring up Mr. Cody Cowell. How are you doing this evening, Cody?
I'm really good. How are you, Liz? Good to see you again.
It's good to see you again as well. So we first met in
Yes.
Florida.
Yes, we did. Shooting a trailer for a sci-fi film.
Yes, yes, we did.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was that was a
a project.
that was an experience without a doubt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a beautiful location. I loved,
Yeah,
getting away. It was what, Sarasota, Florida?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was nice. No, it was just like anything. It's what you see in front of the camera and then behind the camera, and what I really liked about that, trailer especially, is the people that they hired were really great. It was a fantastic team of people. Like we all hung out afterwards and had dinner and drinks, and then every morning got up and everything. So it was a really good experience with a lot of really good people, which really make everything happen.
There's so many people from the cast and crew of that particular project that I'm still in contact with today. I mean, of course, you being one, but so
Yeah.
many. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that point of, I mean, just phenomenal people
Hmm.
working in that
Yeah.
project. Um, I never got a chance to ask the creator, which unfortunately he has passed away several
Yep.
years ago. I believe he passed away. I never had a chance to really find out, how did he meet all these people? Like, where did he get those
Yeah.
questions?
I know it's it's uh it's a funny business that way, where you can meet people from so many different states or even countries. And with technology these days, it opens up a lot of doors to make those connections. And then, yeah, I was just really pleasantly surprised with everybody just being on board and, going above and beyond what they would normally maybe do to make things happen.
Sure.
And so, yeah, it was really great. Definitely hot. Florida heat's, I mean, Cali's one thing, but Florida heat's on another level. So that was definitely something that you had to get used to. But it was, yeah, I'm glad, like anything, everything you do, you learn from and grow from and move on.
Yeah, for sure. So at that time when I met you, which was now quite a while ago, I think that was
Yeah.
2014, you were a well accomplished actor. And what I want to ask you about is your demo reel. So I
Okay.
very rarely get to ask actors and actresses about the creation of your demo reel. Would
Right.
you mind just giving us a quick overview of what you decided to put into it? Because you get to a point to where you can't put everything in there.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So with me, I like range, and for me to continuously improve upon it, not make it too long, not make it too short, and mix up the scene. So I made my own reel. I edited it. I did everything because that's pretty much I'm self-taught for the most part. I do have an acting coach out here that I really like in Manhattan Actor Studio, Billy Gallo,
Mhm.
and he's fantastic. He's pretty much the only person I've ever worked under and learned a lot from him. But when it came to everything else, pre him, yeah, it was all me. And so as I would do a project, you might love doing a project and then you get it and you're like, ah. quality might not be there, sound could be off, the lighting or whatever. And so I had to hopefully get some stuff. And also, what I would do is if I didn't get it, but I would see it online somewhere, I would actually screen record some of the scenes to get it so I could use it and then apply that into my reel because you don't always get a lot of your scenes that you do.
Right.
And so just yeah, over time I would hand pick things and I would try to put in enough time with each scene to capture people's attention. And then the next scene I'd switch it so it was a constant barrage of different emotions and different characters. Just because again, I like range and I like impactful characters and stories. And so as I got stuff, I would take older things out, put newer things in, and just continue the upgrade.
Very nice. Well, I'd love to take a look at your demo reel.
Okay.
But this is Cody Cowell. Let me make sure that it's full screen so we can see it.
We're gonna tear through your files. Everything you've got. I find anything on me. I'm gonna smash and burn everything you ever touched. Everything you love.
She's the only family I have, and so might her. Please, let her stay.
The way I see it, you got three options. One, you can surrender, and you'll get a fair trial before we hang you.
Nothing personal. It's the nature of the business.
I was talking to Kevin. He's a really, really nice guy. And he was trying to change his shift in order to work with you.
Abby. Do you hear that?
Mama, man, you watch that crazy shit way too young. That's why you're all stuck up in the head. I'm gonna kill you.
He's a hell of a shot. Maybe even better than you.
You know what she's doing there?
She's trying to hear her parents singing.
Not again, Miss Calloway.
Maybe she'll hear your daughter singing as well.
Over the bank. This is Sheriff Jack Cobb.
I will never forget what your parents did for me.
I'm sure you're all real familiar with the news.
That's what we gonna do.
It's hang time.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. You flip looks like nobody's business. I mean,
Yeah.
the hot cop. Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, long hair to short hair and facial hair and lose weight, gain weight and whenever I get a chance to do that, it's always fun to surprise people.
Well, yeah. Okay. My mind is going in many different directions, but I want to go back to getting scenes, getting footage. I remember when I
Yeah.
first started, I had an agent tell me, he's like, Scotch, remember the Scotch. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, every project, as soon as you wrap, you send Scotch to the producers to try to get a little bit of your footage because that's
Yeah.
worth its
Yeah.
weight in gold.
Yeah.
So to be so creative, like what you just explained, I've never heard of anybody doing it like that.
Yeah. I did have, a handful of stuff that I did get from the film companies. Not much. Um, I would keep in touch and I would search and I would look on YouTube or look on different sites. And that's what I would do is I would basically a lot of those scenes that you see in there were found online and I screen recorded the scenes
Yeah.
and then edited that onto my reel. So it was hard to get um, a number of the work that I've done. And then again, a number of the work that I've done, um, I just didn't feel that the quality was there.
Yeah.
And like anything, you always do your best, but that doesn't mean that your best is going to show up on camera. And so some of the things that I've done, no one will ever see because it's me for my eyes only and for my learning. And then the ones that I did like, I'm like, got one, and add it, and then continue to go from there.
There's a project that you did quite a while ago called the Bubble Zone. And
Yeah, yeah,
you turned me on to that years ago and I watched it.
yeah,
Fantastic. I've got to tell you, that is the it's like a catchphrase for me now, because when somebody's like,
yeah,
"Oh, I'm from LA," and I'm like, "From LA or like from the Bubble Zone?" And if they have no idea what I'm talking about, then
yeah,
they're
yeah,
not South Bay. But that's
yeah.
a great project. I'm surprised you didn't pull some of that and put it in your demo reel.
Yeah, that was it. It's basically very close to true to my where I live. A lot of that actually is 100% accurate.
Yes.
And the reason why that I don't use that is because it was such a long time ago that I don't feel I look like that anymore because I just, matured.
Yeah.
So I do like it, but as I've gotten things, I try to be as accurate as I can because, you don't want to show up and then go, wait a minute, I thought you were 30. I'm like, yeah, I used to be, you know?
Right.
So yeah, so that's why I did use that for a while. And then as I found other things that also I felt maybe surpassed my acting or show a different range, then I would just pick and choose.
So let me ask you about the look. How long does it take you to go from shorter hair to long hair? Like, does your hair grow really fast?
Yeah, yeah, my beard, I can almost get a full beard in 3 weeks. So that can grow up pretty quick, and it's totally salt and pepper, so it's not this color, which is classic. So I found a dye that looks exactly like my hair of my head color,
Uh-huh.
so I can age play, which is good. And then to grow my hair out, if I went totally short to this length, it would probably be maybe a year to a year and 3 months. So I don't know if that's fast, but to me, that's about what it would take.
I would say that's pretty fast. I mean, because you're
Okay.
talking about what, 8 inches to go from short to shoulder length. That's
Yeah.
that's 8, 9. Yeah, that's pretty fast. So with your range of looks, do
Mhm.
you keep a handful of headshots that are still relevant to what you look like now? But like when you book headshot photographers, do you kind of do it like in stages so that you have
Yeah.
all
So
the lengths?
what I did for that, so because of me having to learn my own way to make it in the business, because, excuse me, I have representation now. Enorama Talent, his name is Thanasis. I have never been rep by anybody that I've gotten work from. And so I had to figure out everything on my own. So like all the jobs that you're talking about, before the show, those are all jobs that I got on my own, except for Queen of Heaven. That was the one I got with my agent, and that's actually the first ever job I've gotten through an agent.
Wow.
Everything else has been on my own. So when it came to like doing headshots and things like that, I didn't go to photographers. What I did was if I was shooting a film and I got to know the people well, like the cameraman or a photographer, I would say, hey, when I was in character, would you mind taking a couple of shots? If it works between breaks. And for the most part, they're always really nice and they said, sure.
Wow.
Or if that didn't happen, what I would do is when I would get back to my house, I would be in the backyard or I'd go somewhere and I have someone take pictures of me just on a normal camera. And because for me, what's really important is it's not modeling. So when I walk in, I want someone to see my picture and go, "Oh wow, that is you," you know. And so yeah, so well, pretty much all my headshots are done either from location of working or in my backyard.
Okay, that's really smart.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been acting? Were you acting as a child?
Yeah, no, I loved acting as a child,
Me too.
but I wasn't, in any place ready to go for it. I tried, so I booked a job in high school because they cast from my high school and I got picked. So that was like my first kind of acting job. I didn't act, I was doing background, but I got picked. by the background casting director, and he put me in positions to be on camera. So that was actually kind of neat, which I've never experienced that before. So that was my first taste. And then I did some more background work because I wanted to kind of see if it was something I wanted to do, and watch the actors do their thing, and then see what life on the location or set was like. And I tried and failed miserably. Wasn't confident, wasn't secure with who I am, and just couldn't do it.
Wow.
So I decided to just, move on in life, and I did get married and had children. And around that time I started to think about getting back into it. But I want to be a good dad, and I want to be there. So I still put that on hold till my kids were old enough to where I felt that I could go and do things and be away, and they wouldn't be like, "Where are you? Where are you?" So it was probably early 30s is when I started, and then not really 100% focused. I would try stuff here and there, and probably I would say 10, 11 years ago was when I really decided 100% to fully devote myself. So, so real would be about 10, 11 years, is when I really decided to go. Prior to that, I was learning a lot about myself to prepare really for it. As you know, you have to be comfortable and confident with who you are, and be secure, and so all of that time up until 10, 11 years ago was, I look at it as preparation.
Now, there's something in Hollywood called the gray list. And I know a
Hmm.
lot of women are going to know what that means. And it essentially means, once you start to get older, you're not
Yeah.
in so much of a demand. I've never seen it that way, because I
Hmm.
look at, I look at TV and film like what it is. When we're an actor,
Yeah.
we're really in those emotions. We're really in life in a false
Yeah.
environment. So if it's a false environment, okay, let's take it back into real environment. You have all ages. You have everybody
Mhm.
around you. So I want to ask you, the gray list, is it a myth or a fact?
That's it. For me personally,
Mm,
myth,
myth.
100%, because it all, like, I'm not 30, so I'm not going to try to be a 30-year-old.
Right.
Um, I'm definitely younger and healthier for my age than I think a lot of people. And so I can do a little more, and I can still play at my age range a little bit, but it's all really depending on I really feel your ego. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna hold on, I'm gonna keep on, pushing and going, then it's a fact to you. For me personally, age doesn't mean shit to me, and I like playing different characters in different roles in different ages. That's why I love having a salt and pepper beard, because I can be 10 years older. And like the film I did in Spain, Run Baby Run, I had a full beard in that movie the whole time, except for the last 10 days of filming, and I shaved it. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, I was wondering who that old guy was this whole time," And then I shaved it, and they go, "Oh, you're actually young," because it was like 3 months of salt and pepper, gray beard, and they just thought I was some old guy. And I mean, they knew who I was, of course, because I was working, but they're looking to like, I just can't believe that you look like I would do now when they see your picture. So when I shaved and they came out the first day after I shaved, they went, "Oh my gosh, it is you. Like, that's amazing," because I'm so used to you having this, you know, gray old man beard.
Well, I got to tell you something funny. So when we were cast in that trailer in
Yeah.
Florida, I was cast as your wife, right?
Yes.
So immediately, as soon as I heard the name, I went onto IMDb and I'm like, some of the pictures, I was like, okay, okay. Oh my God, he looks like a serial killer. So, so then
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm Googling and I'm trying to figure out, what does he consistently look like? And of course, there's
Right.
nothing that you
Oh,
consistently look like. So
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, either he's going to be good looking or like a hack 'em up. Like, I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
go to Florida, find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. No, my kids are always, that's what they always, whenever I get a gig, they go, "What's it going to be this time?" And I said, "Well, you have to wait and see." And they go, "Yeah." Like, because I play that, I like rangy roles, and I have a couple good guy down to earth roles coming up, which are going to be a big change for me because I tend not to do that. I just like to be really physically, emotionally, and mentally challenged. And it's not that those are challenging, because they're challenging in a different way. But yeah, I like bad and controversial and impactful, and that's the good stuff.
And you're so not that way personally. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, you're just a really nice, true person. And I just find it so funny when there's so many of these guys where it's like, yeah, I love being able to like break open that box and I'm just this
yeah,
mean guy. And it's like, no, you're not. Like,
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
know you.
Well, and then that's the compliment, right? So when I do something, I should be believable.
Yeah.
I am most nervous when someone I know watches what I do, because they know me.
Yeah.
And like, especially my children or my parents or my best friends. I I went to a premiere one time. It was for a vampire film I did, and I brought my two best friends, and I couldn't even enjoy the film. We went to the theater, and it was so great to take them to the premiere, and I was so nervous the whole time I'm watching them, just like, okay, what are they going to say? And when it was over, I was like, you got to tell me. And 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 they both go, we know you, and it was hard to see you in that, but
Yeah.
you were believable. And I'm like, ah, victory, because I fooled them. So that's like the ultimate, when you get to fool people that know you the best.
Oh, that's amazing. And I mean, just looking at your demo reel, you can totally see that happening. I want to talk about BEARS, the awakening. Now, is it
Oh yeah,
obviously it's written as an acronym? Um, is it
yeah,
said that way or is it said bears the awakening?
yeah. It's bears. It's an acronym, and it individually means something. And yeah, so that I got cast in a few months ago, and that's going to be filmed in Istanbul, Turkey. So I'm really excited. I get to go to Turkey. And the really thing that I'm also happy with the, because I have a lot of flying coming up down, in the future,
Yeah.
is that I got my global TSA pre. So I'm so happy about that. So I get to basically bypass everything now, whether it's national or international. So I was hoping I was going to get it before my first gig, and I got it recently. So yeah, I get to go to Istanbul. The creator of the show is, his name is Da Vinci Young, and Deli Young, and the director is Daryl Johnson. And so Da Vinci cast me. We had a video call like you and I were doing, and clicked off. And he's a really good guy. Another friend of mine, Tony Jones, is in the film as well. And yeah, it's going to be a really fun sci-fi project. I can't really say too much about my character, but it's going to be really action-packed, and I think it's going to be pretty visually mind-blowing. So I'm really excited about it.
That's very cool. So Turkey, huh? I've
Yeah,
always wanted to go to Istanbul.
I've heard amazing things
What are you looking forward to the most?
about Istanbul.
Yeah.
Uh, well, just going there, they sent me a video of the studio, and then of course the environment, and it looks amazing. Coming from where I come from, the beach environment is so different than so many parts of the world. Um, so I'm just really excited to, culture to me is amazing, and history, because really in LA, like we don't have a lot of history here in that regard, but Istanbul, I mean, it goes back dates. So that's one thing I do enjoy, is I'll look forward when I have some time off. Like, I would love to go to some museums, to find out history, to go down to areas that are, very, very, multi-lifetime old,
Mhm.
and just get some knowledge behind the history behind where I'm at, and what happens. So the history of it, I'm really looking forward to.
I love the architecture. I mean, I can
Yeah,
remember being in Amsterdam and just being in awe, just looking at the architecture. And then
yeah,
there were some guys. It was daytime, right? So
yeah,
I'm on the street, and it was a club, and I didn't even know it was a club because it's in the. I mean, this beautiful building from
hmm,
God knows how long ago, and they're taking out some furniture because they're changing it out, and they carry out this Queen Anne like couch. I mean, it's
Wow.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
and scrolled wood. And I'm like, they would never put something like that in an American
Yeah.
club. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, and also what's amazing too, which is incredible when you think about it, is it was all done by hand and eye and pen and paper, or
Yeah.
not pen even, could be the what do you a little the feather with the
The quill.
quills. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's what blows me away when you look at the detail, the accuracy, the balance,
Mm,
and the craftsmanship,
mhm.
all done, no computer animation, no prep, no this. It's a mind. I'm going to put this on paper and or stone or whatever it was back in the day that they used, depending on where you lived. And they made these incredible pieces of whether it's furniture or art, and they're still intact, incredibly detailed today, which just tells you the craftsmanship was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited for that one. You have another film called Run, Baby, Run. What can
Yeah.
you tell us
Yeah.
about that one?
So that was a fun one. I got to go to Spain for that one. So that was really I was there for almost 2 months. And in I flew into Barcelona and then was driven into a town called Sabadell. And then from Sabadell, that's where Es de Mango Productions is. That's the company. Uh, Shout out to Tony, Eric, and Carolina. Thank you for that. This is Run Baby Run. And then we drove because they wanted to film it um, as naturally lit as possible. So we drove out to a small like farming town called Teruel, and a high percentage of the film was all based on natural light. And it's a survival thriller adventure movie, and it's about the lead actress and hey Katusha, that's the lead actress, and she has to survive the elements of nature, and my character and another character, and it was really physically demanding. I lost over 20 pounds during the filming. Went in at 250 and left 230, and but the again, what we were talking about earlier about teamwork, the crew was unbelievably connected and went above and beyond to help each other out and do things that they weren't even, you know, by job had to do, but they're like, no, if you need to get done, I will do it. And so that kind of teamwork is what being an athlete is what I thrive on. And so, and being so physical and the recuperation every day to get ready for the next day.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Mother Nature gave us a few days off, which was fun because the sunlight had to be the same. And if there was a cloudy day or rainy day, day off. And so we got a couple days off by Mother Nature, and that was nice. And then beyond that, it was all country and hill and rocks, and it was incredible. So it's supposed to be coming out this year,
Mhm,
fairly. I can't say fairly soon, but I know they're pretty much almost done with everything.
mhm.
So I'm waiting to get the update on if it's going to be a theater release and then what television platform picks it up.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I mean, just absolutely incredible. What was the first
Yeah.
project that you filmed internationally?
The first one I did was in Canada,
Okay.
and that was earlier in my career. It was a drama,
Mhm,
and it's funny, they broke it up. They made the film, and then from the character that I played, they made a shorter film because my character is called Santos, and they made a shorter film, like a knockoff film from the film called Santos. And so that was the first time I got to travel internationally, and that was really fun because it was snowing at the time. And so I left the bubble zone and I went into extremely cold weather. And so in my reel, the one scene where I've got short hair and the beard, and I say, "I'll never forget what you do," that was from Canada. That was actually one of my original projects that I did.
Wow. And that's amazing. I mean, all of this was curated by you, no agent.
Yeah,
Wow. So let's talk for a moment about the contacts that you can make by just living in the area that you do. Do you feel like that was that had a lot of propulsion in being able to find these projects, or where'd you find them?
So yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because I feel that if you thrive where you live, then whatever you're choosing to do, you're going to succeed. So yes, in that way. No, because there are, I guess, a fair amount of industry people where I live. I have no idea who they are. Um, so because of where I live, I love where I live. I thrive where I live. The people, the energy, just everything about it. But thankfully, with technology these days, I was able to connect with people online as that transitioned. When I first started, it was you had to drive to LA and have your physical headshot, which I don't even know if those exist anymore. And then you'd walk in, give it to them, and then you do your thing and leave, and hopefully get a call. And now you can, as we're doing, we can video call, you can phone call, you can email, or you can go onto social sites that have their information and you can reach out to them. And again, because I didn't have anybody um, back then that I could rely on for help, I had to figure out, okay, how can I connect with these people, and what do I do to connect with them? So, for example, my first ever um, actually trying is I used a site that, as far as I know, nobody uses. It's called Craigslist, and there's an acting site.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a picture or a resume. What I had was I wrote out on a piece of paper that I eventually, put into an email, um, describing how I physically looked and also describing what I felt my best traits were or qualities. And I saw a project. Now, this is, I submitted to a bunch of them and didn't hear anything. And eventually I found this project that I really liked and I submitted, and guy called me and said, if you look like you do and you have those qualities from your paper, then let's meet. And so I met him up at Third Street Promenade at a coffee shop. And after about a 2-hour conversation where I was dreadfully nervous because it's a very intense character, and I was like, people are going to be scared shitless. See, like if I have to do this stuff for real, right? And yeah, after about a 2-hour talk, he handed me the role, and that's how I officially got my start and got the bug. And that was one of the first ones, and I still have that film to this day. Still, that's like one of my proudest moments because it was my first time doing something and getting something back. So it was so I still watch it today. It's pretty fun.
Anybody that has been in the business, let's say earlier than 2000, maybe 2002, 3, are going to be like, oh my God, that's how they used to do it.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well, this is classic. So you have your headshot, right?
Yeah.
Because I realized early on that I could change my look, and a lot of times, like, so right now I'm clean shaven and whatever. But if I wanted to look like a homeless drug addict, it'd be like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to really look at you like that. Well, so what I did was, whatever I was going for, I had quarter panels, and I had an actual headshot that I cut into a quarter panel size, and then I had another shot, and then I had a bifold that I opened up with another shot on each side and my resume. And so when I walked into places, I would always have 4 pictures because I wanted them, because I always didn't look like I was for the role, but I knew I had a picture of it. And so I had this quad fold of pictures in a resume, and that's what I used to hand people, and they're like, this is so funny, I've never seen this before. And I went, well, I need you to know that I can look that grungy or that clean. And yeah, so that's how it started.
Oh my God, freaking genius. That is such a great idea. There's so many people
Yeah.
that are going to be like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is. For somebody who can be a chameleon in sense,
Yeah.
and have so many and really, really 100% play off so many different looks. Like none of
Yeah.
it seems forced. It's just,
Right.
it's you in a totally different body and look. It's great. You have another film
Yeah.
before we start talking about television projects, Queen of
Mhm.
Heaven. Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
Yeah, so that will be the first project that I get from an agent. And so that'll be pretty groundbreaking because I've never gotten anything from anybody my whole career. That is yeah, it's gonna be a fun role, gonna be pretty intense. And there's multiple locations. I'm not sure which one that I'm gonna be in yet, but I'm either going to be in Jerusalem or I'll be in Greece.
Wow.
And depending on the scenes that they're doing, I know I'll be going to one or both of those places for the shoot. And it's the story of Jesus's mother.
Oh, okay. So you have a presence on social media, on Facebook and Instagram and places like that. I've seen some promotion for Queen of Heaven, haven't I?
Yeah. Yeah, I just got a recent update that they've officially cast it and that they are done with that and they've been in pre-production but now they've moved to that next level. So I just made that post recently on my social media about being officially casted and they have these people on there that are, moving it up forward. So yeah, I'm just waiting to talk to my agent soon and get all the details.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
in
you.
the
I appreciate it.
television world, there's a new project called Seven Seas.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
it about?
Okay, so this is a cool story because you hear that one door closes, another one opens up.
Yeah.
Um, I'm very particular about what I do, and it's not just about the project, it's also the people. So I connected with a guy probably 3 years ago about a project, and I was really getting ready to get on an airplane and fly to Florida. No, go back there again. And to do this project and some stuff happened and he showed his true colors and um I walked off. I said, no, I'm done. I can't work with you. There's no way.
Mhm.
So during this time, I had made a post about that project. And Tony Angelo, who is the owner of Seven Seas, with Bill Kilpack is the writer, and his wife Allison Kilpack, and then Catherine Norland is the vice president. Um, Tony responded to my post, but I wasn't connected with him yet. So when I can, I always like to thank people when they, acknowledge you. And so I just said, I clicked the like button and then I went to connect with him and he accepted it. So I messaged him and I just said, hey, thank you for liking the post. Um, if you have some projects that you're looking to cast, I saw that he had a production company and I said, it'd be great to talk to you about him. And he called me and he called me up and I was talking to him like, oh, and at first I wasn't quite sure. And I went, oh, this is Tony. Like, okay. And he said, well, we do have a project, and there's a couple characters that we think you'd be a good fit for. And they were telling me about it. And what I really like is they're just genuinely good people, like really passionate and really cool. And it was so great to have that compared to what I just experienced with this last person. And I'm like, oh man, I'm out. So it was a really breath of fresh air. And so he said, I want to send you both characters, and then I want to send you some of the scenes, and you pick, which is actually pretty neat to have someone let me pick. So they knew I could do intense, they knew I could do hardcore. They saw my reel and everything, and but both of these characters also have this like kind of playful, funny side to them that they like to screw around. And one character stood out more than the other to me. So I said, "Hey, this is the character that I like above this one." And I said, "This is what I'd like to go for." And they said, "That's great. We actually were hoping that you're going to say that." I said, "Cool." So I picked a scene that showed his kind of dry humor, funny side, and I, read it and got into character and they let me have a little bit of freedom of improving, which is kind of fun when I get that opportunity. So I improved a little bit with the character. And then during this time, they were sending me information and I was like, oh man, it looks amazing. But I go, I'm not cast yet, so please don't, don't send me stuff because I get more attached and I don't want to know a lot until I'm in. Then you could open the floodgates.
Yeah.
So they're sending me these pictures and these visuals, and I'm like, oh man, this is just so amazing. And I'm getting all psyched and even more nervous, right? So yeah, so I send in my video audition to Tony, and now I'm just really nervous because I want it bad. Like after the talking to them and seeing all the visuals and their passion behind it and their creativity. And so the nice thing is they don't waste time, which is really cool. And he called me back probably 45 minutes to maybe a little bit later, and he goes, "Hey Cody, I got your video." And the whole time I'm like, He said, I'm not gonna waste your time." He said, "Congratulations." And I was just like, oh man, because Bill had to agree, Allison had to agree, and they liked what I did with the character. And so the character's name is Quade Riggs. That's what I can pretty much tell you.
Okay.
He's a mercenary kind of bounty hunter, and I've got like a partner involved that we get to have like a real fun play off of each other. He's like my mentor that was like me in a little bit older version. Still a badass. And so this Seven Seas, there's multiple characters. So I'm one of the co-leads in it. And it revolves around me and my partner, and then a few other different characters that are in the show. It, I want to say apocalyptic, but it's almost like Mother Nature apocalyptic, where the glaciers melting and the rising of water, and the Earth takes on different forms, and um, animals evolve. And so yeah, that's I
Wow.
know that's kind of a bland version, but yeah. So I got that, and I'm still, when I think, and we're really close. Like I've been getting updates, and we're really close to officially having our table reads and meeting everybody. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. Man, there's a little bit of everything happening in there. And when you said,
Yeah.
sort of a mercenary and bounty hunter, I'm like, yes, I see it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot
Yeah.
wait for that one.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to let us know once
Yeah.
you're in, post-production and
Yeah.
if they have placement, they have distribution, let us know where we can see it. There's
Yeah.
another one.
100%.
Yeah, there's another one,
Yeah.
DJ, the greatest superhero.
Yes. Yes. So that one, I there's a girl named Natalie Perry, and then there's my buddy who I mentioned earlier, Tony Jones, who is also in Bears.
Okay.
So they are part of the production.
Mhm.
And I've connected with them a while back, and they said, "Hey, there's this show, and we told the guy who owns it about you, that we should definitely give you a shot." So um, I reached out and messaged him, and gave him my links and my reels and a few pics, and said I'm 6'4" and 250 a little bit now, because put my weight back on it for Spain. And athletic background, boxing, martial arts. And I said, if there's a character that you feel I'm a fit, I'm very interested. And so Natalie reached out to him, Tony reached out to him, and they said, we definitely feel that there's a character, we're just not sure yet.
Mm.
And so as that progressed, they came back and they said, we do have a character, but all the superheroes are taken. So you have the non-superhero character. And I was like, hey, well, I'm cool. I mean, it sounds like a great show, and this will be a nice way, like anything. It's like a stepping stone to get in with people, and you never know where it's going to go. And they said, but we can always write something in that can change your character and whatnot. And so as that progressed, his name is Stevie, and Stevie Kinchin. He's the owner of Power Dog Comic Productions, and he's the illustrator, and that's the creator of the show. And so during this time, we had chatted, and he said, there's another character that I feel you'd be really great for. And we can make it a dual character, and I could implement him into the TV show because this was going to be like a separate gig. And I said, yeah. I said, that's fantastic. And he said, great. So he sent me the picture, and I posted it also. If you look on Facebook, the one character original was called the Governor, and that's my non-hero character. And then the other character is called Gore, and he's a barbarian. And so yeah, so that's gonna be DJ, the greatest superhero, and there's like a bunch of villains and a bunch of good guys, and it's building up to be a pretty incredible production, and that's looking from what if everything goes on target, that's going to be early next year that we're going to start production.
Well, okay, so I just popped over to Facebook and I
Yeah.
see a whole nother motion picture here that I don't have in my notes. And
Oh.
guinea
Yeah.
pig?
Oh yeah.
What
So yeah. I know
is like a
there's
5-hour
yeah.
show, Cody.
Well, so here's this is I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she's an actress. Her name is Megan, and Anthea, by the way. So they're both friends of mine, and I'm working with them coming up. And I was talking, and I said, they're like, you have so much stuff going on, and I said, yes, because I've learned from, and as everybody's very individual with their story and how they get things, and so my mentality was I'd rather have more than less because things happen. And so, for example, right now I'm supposed to be in Colorado, and then I was going to be in Miami, and then I was going to be in New York, and all three projects got bumped. So the prime example of that is I'd rather have more that I have to pick and choose from if that happens than I got cast and then sit, and then all of a sudden something happens where um it falls through, and you're like, oh my god, I have nothing now. So yeah, so I have a bunch of different projects that I don't really post about until it gets to a certain level for me personally, and then I do updates. But yeah, that's yeah, Guinea Pig is a sci-fi. I play Dr. Zine in the movie, and yeah, it's getting closer. I've been getting more updates lately about it, and it looks like it's going to be a really fun cast and crew. I'm not exactly sure. The last time I heard, they were looking at filming out of the country. I don't know if that's currently there yet, but yeah, I've been on board with this one and that's the thing too that people may not know about. Some of these projects, it could take years
Yeah.
to actually get it to where we are in pre-production. We have the dates set. Here's your, plane ticket, contract. These are the days we need you, and now it's prep time. And so, like Guinea Pig, I would say, man, I have probably been on board with this project for 2 or 3 years now, maybe. Could be a little bit more. And for me, it's also, you know, I know it takes time. Something like, so for Run Baby Run in Spain, that was my fastest. I I connected with them. They liked my reel. I video called with them, and I think it was maybe 2 months later I was on a plane, and that was the fastest I've ever, from start to like, from starting of prepping to starting of like flying where I was going. It took about 2 months, and it was like that was costume fitting and getting everything set and ready and fine tuning all the details and everything. But most of my projects that I have, a lot of them have taken years, and I look at it as um, quality. You want to get it done right. You got to, you got to cover all the basics behind the scene, in front of the scene, and locations and all the different legalities.
Mhm.
And that's where my mentality is, and I'm going to continue to submit and reach out to people and get more projects and get more projects, because when it comes down to it, um, I'll just see who's ready first, and get ready for that one, and then knock that out and continue to the next one. Like when I was in Spain, I probably auditioned on some of my days off. I had 4 different auditions when I was in Spain, and I probably connected with 8 or 10 people while I was over there, out here in other places. And so I was working while I was working, because I wanted to have something that I could get ready for when I came back.
Right. So that was a question that I wanted to ask you about, was the work balance that you have going on.
Mhm.
So take me through your day, as far as, do you look for castings every single day?
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
Yeah, so I'm on every morning. With that's how I wake up. I make a protein drink every day, and I don't do coffee. I know it's a caffeine thing. It's just not, I rarely ever drink anything warm. I'm a cold guy. I like cold showers and cold plunges and everything. And so the only thing I like warm would be a steam room. Those are badass. I love those. Beyond that, I'm like the cold water guy. So I make a protein drink every morning. I go online. I have a couple different sites that I go to, and I look if I fit a character, or if I can make a connection, submit to it. I get pretty consistent updates with all the different projects that I'm on board with, and then that's kind of like most of my morning. Then after that, depending on what I have, I'll tend to do some training, go to the gym, go to the beach, maybe hit the heavy bag, do some running, and then have my lunch, get myself my nutrition to maintain mental and physical.
Yeah.
And then, and of course, having a cell phone or a tablet, I'm getting updates throughout the day, and I might get like, hey, we move forward, or hey, I like what I saw in your reel. Can we talk? Yeah, let's do it. And so I'm kind of on throughout the day. How I balance that is that when I was a competitive athlete, I was lucky enough to have an off switch, and so, and I also had a life outside of being an athlete, which I learned very early on, because a lot of athletes I knew, they were lost if they were not in that environment. That's who they believed they were, and they had no identity outside of that. And I didn't want that. I wanted to have friendships, and I wanted to have time off, and I wanted to not be on the whole time. So yeah, so what I've learned from being an athlete growing up, and then when I transitioned to acting, is that is a daily thing that I do on top of other stuff that I connect with. But then there's days where I have complete off, and I'm a lazy bum, and I don't do anything. It's just like, So I have that. I'm fortunate enough to have that balance. I love when I'm acting. Absolutely love being in the camera with my teammates, and vibing out and getting intense and all that. And then I absolutely, and there's a transition after that where I have to remember who I am again when I'm not acting, and that takes some time depending on how intense the role is. And once that transition happens, I love my life at the bubble zone, at the beach, and with my friends, and nothing to do with acting or anything other than just, playing volleyball, or going in the ocean, or riding on the strand, or
Yeah.
road tripping up north, or, just chilling out. So it's that's how I keep my balance.
You're making me miss it, Cody. It is.
Well, and as you know, also hanging with my children and connecting with them. That's a big part of my balance too, is my connection with my family.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that, because, that's one of those questions that we don't hear answers to very often, like in-depth, real answers to,
Mhm.
okay, what is your work-life balance? Like, if you ask somebody
Yeah,
that on the red carpet, they give you some blah, 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 just some silly
yeah,
answers. And it's like, I want to hear like a real answer. And that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad that you had that
yeah,
off switch of when you were an
yeah.
athlete. You booked a really interesting role in a video game. Can you
Oh yeah.
tell us a little bit about the curation of that? I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen some of the castings come across for video games with
Mhm.
breakdown services. So,
Yeah.
I know that they're in there too, but how'd you find this one?
So I found that on IMDb Pro. They have an acting or a talent section that you can submit to different projects. And the company's called Argos Real Games. And I connected with them. I saw the post, and the nice thing about IMDb Pro, that section exactly, is that um, it tells you when the casting was actually put on, and it was like 2 minutes, and I just found it perfectly. So I submitted for the role, one of the roles in the project, and just kept in touch with the guy, and it's like the first big project of their company. So getting in at ground level, which is kind of like the dream you want. If you're going to get into a video game, you want to get in early. So then as it grows, as long as you don't die, in the game, then you get to come back. I don't, which is cool. So I live. That's not a ruin. It's not going to spoil it for you because there's a lot of other stuff that happens. And yeah, so I submitted. He reached out to me and said, I like your look. I like your voice. You definitely fit this one character, and we just have to do a couple things, and then we'll get back. I said great. So they got back to me, which was nice, and offered me the role. And so I didn't really know because I said, hey, well, here's me in a beard and here's me this, and they're like, no, we need your face, man. We're gonna add everything to yeah. So that's the three. I'm like, I guess I would be like the fourth lead. These are the characters that you can play, and then I play a character that you deal with throughout the game. And my character's name is Archie Flynn, and I'm the go-to guy. When you need something, you come to me. And so yeah, so they said, okay, well, we want you to slick back your hair, be totally clean shaven, and it does not like mugshot us. And I was like, okay. They said we need it bare bone because we're gonna add everything um to you. And so yeah, and they said this is gonna be it's a strategy, survival, adventure, and I guess it's called free play, and then there's a storyline, so you can free run and cruise around, and it's above ground and below ground, and then there's a storyline that you can follow to get the finish goal. And there's some horror involved into it as well, and the graphics that they've sent me look pretty neat. It's gotten better and better and better, more detailed, and all the creepiness and everything. So it's exciting, and PlayStation picked it up. So like if people go to the PlayStation Hub for like upcoming games and they look at Dark Mean City, that'll come up, and then it's also going to be Xbox and PC and Sandlot, so it's going to be across the board.
That's very cool. Do you know what it's rated?
Yeah. Hmm?
Do you know what it's rated? Is it rated like I would assume maybe teen?
I would say so. I don't think, I feel most games, and that's the thing about it, like 10 years ago, a game that would be R-rated is like PG because kids have gotten so desensitized to blood and violence. So I would say it's going to be made across the board for at least teen, that without a doubt. I don't know if it would be younger than that, but I would think teen.
Okay. All right. Well, that is really cool.
Oh, and the fun thing about it too, which would be really neat, I've never done this before. I've always wanted to, is I will be going to Comic Con, and I'll be going there for my character. So that'll be really fun to be able to travel to the different Comic Cons around the world and be representing the game and my character. So that's one thing I've always wanted to do because I've YouTube videos all the time on Comic Cons, and they just look so amazing. So I'm really excited about that.
That is so cool because you're gonna get like your
Yeah.
own outfits. You like everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I'll be curious to see if they want us to like, be in character or show up like this and then they have the character. So I'm waiting to kind of get that information, but it'll be fun either way.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, I definitely I smell a part two to this interview. I think there's that you could come back on and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to be here
Yeah,
at this date and I'm going to be this and this and this. So
100%.
I would love
That'd
to
be great.
have you on the show again. Before you go, can you let everybody know, even though it's scrolling at the bottom, the best way to contact you and follow you?
Yeah. So yeah, you have my information scroll on the bottom. I have a Facebook page. You can go to IMDb Pro, Instagram and Twitter. My picture's on there, so it's pretty easy to find me. And yeah, my contact information's on there. So if people have any questions, and that's regarding the business or also just life, because things happen. And if they have any questions about things, or they just want to talk story, they could reach out to me and contact me on any of those platforms.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time this evening, Cody. This was
Yeah,
really
Liz.
great. You gave us so many things that we can implement into life, which is, I mean, that's just a great, time to
Thank
help
you.
other
It was a
people.
lot of, well, it was great to see you. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. All right, well, take care, and we'll see you very soon.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Everybody, what a fantastic show. Thank you so much for watching and interacting with us. I saw everybody popping up there, Michael and Ralph, and there were a couple more in the beginning. I definitely want to give a shout out to Damon King, because I know it's a trifecta here. You're connected with me as well as Cody. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, we are blessed. You are blessed. And I love you. And I'll see you again very soon. Hang on for another great show. All right.